Hey guys, so I already made a 10-minute video in which I already talked about this stuff, but unfortunately the audio was not nice. So I'm sort of doing it again so that, anyway, I'm Yash and this is my first YouTube video, and I'm doing this because I don't really know how to talk to people, and I feel like if I talk to a camera, which helps me talk to people, it's gonna be a really good thing for me, to get out there, talk to people. Anyway, let's just get right to it. Do you guys remember in the Harry Potter movies, towards, I think this was towards the end of the movies when, I think it was in the Half-Blood Prince when, Malfoy finally gets in touch with, Voldemort, and I think he's told to murder Dumbledore. That's why he's the chosen one, right? Yep. So in that movie, there's a scene in which he's just his hands on his cheek and he's just daydreaming about something, or I don't know, and his hands just like this, and let me just recreate it. And he's just sort of thinking and he's subtly smiling. It's a very subtle smile because he doesn't want to reveal he's smiling, but he is actually smiling. I'm gonna explain the context later, just bear with me here. Okay, so he's okay, I can't do it, but it was that scene, and he does that because he's daydreaming about actually, getting in touch with his dark side, with the dark world of magic. And instead of being, burdened by that, he is also kind of happy about it because, his parents have also always been involved in that stuff, and now he's finally getting some recognition. And he's not a kid anymore. He needs to take this job seriously, and it's a dark job, and despite that he's happy about it. It's not happy, obviously he's burdened, but he's also sort of, you know he has that sense of pleasure that, okay, now I'm going over to the dark side, and that makes him feel powerful. So I feel like that is what literature makes us realize. It makes us realize that we're not just one type of person. We're 1,000 different characters, and the thing is, we get a sense of pleasure from all these characters. It's not just the good character, the traveling character, the romance character, the fantasy character. It's also the monster, the villain, the beast, all those characters. We enjoy being that too because at one point in our lives, whether it's grief, whether it's rage, it just makes us so angry that we do want to, pursue those sorts of, I don't know, outlets. And that's what literature makes us realize. I feel like, for example, there's this Dostoevsky. If you follow YB Books on Instagram, you know that I will not even say it. I'm just mad over Dostoevsky. But anyway, so no, in Notes of Underground, it starts I'm a sick man, I'm a wicked man, and that's the starting to this book. Firstly, so how the hell can you not fall in love with it? But anyway, like the line goes, I'm a sick man, I'm a wicked man, an unattractive man. I think my liver hurts. However, I don't know a fig about my sickness, and I'm not sure what it is that hurts me. I mean, who cannot relate to that? Obviously, 2-year-olds can't, but once you get into that grown up stage where you're transitioning to an adult, or you are an adult, you understand what this feeling is. And you realize that, I'm not all good. Like, sometimes I am appealed towards my destruction. And I feel like, even though many people would say that, you know, this is sort of destructive writing, it's bad writing. I don't think anyone would ever say this is bad writing, but just in general, like this is the writing that makes us confront ourselves. This is the writing that makes us uncomfortable. It actually makes us think about, like, okay, maybe if I'm thinking this, then, I'm not all good either. Maybe I'm a hypocrite to myself. And like these uncomfortable truths are what I truly believe mean exploring through literature. So, for example, if you're a reader, but you're all day reading romance or you're reading fantasy, it's all great. But like at the end of the day, is that teaching you anything? Are you getting uncomfortable reading it? And I'm not saying this, to degrade any kind of reader. Like if you're reading romance, that's great. If you're reading fantasy, horror, whatever genre, it's great. But like the level of the book, the depth of the book should be as such that you feel uncomfortable reading some of the scenes. You're like, you don't know this isn't true, but like as you think more and more on it, you feel like no, this is true about me as well. And you sort of get that sense of realization, sense of confrontation with your own soul. And this is why I feel like literature is so much better than philosophy. Though I love philosophy, I'm a philosophy minor and English major, but yeah. Um, what was I saying? Yeah, so like, basically philosophy is for a broader audience. It's like philosophy is universal. There are universal theories about a couple of things, and like groups of people decide that okay, this is the theory I believe in, or this is the theory I want to follow. And like it's a universal thing, it's a group thing, and it's a broader thing. But like literature, whenever someone reads a piece of literature, they're like, these words mean this because like I perceive them to mean as such. Like when you read literature, it's not that you understand what the author is trying to say or what the poet is trying to say. When you read literature, you read the words as you want them to mean. Like you're like your circumstances that have shaped you, they would like play a part in how you perceive the author's writing. Who you are as a person, how intensely do you feel? Are you a practical person? Are you a more sensitive person? Like these things play a part in how you perceive a piece of writing. And this is why I feel like all the philosophy is a more broader and general view of the world, and it helps you relate to everyone around you. But literature is important because it gives you that sense of like you're individual, you're creative, and you're way more complex than you think you are. And humans are, at the end of the day, they're all the same. They all have those same desires, but not in the same way. And that is what literature teaches us. Even if the author feels something and they're talking about it, it's not like you understand it in the way they do. You're just understanding it with the situations that you've faced. So, you're understanding it in your own way, in your own sort of distinct manner that makes you, an individual person, a person who's, I don't know, like, how do I explain it? It's like l- literature brings out you in a more, like, it's like when you tell someone about your problems and they're always like, everyone faces problems, like you're not special. So, like, I mean, of course, you understand that everyone faces problem. I should just get over it. But like, at the end of the day, you also know that okay, maybe that doesn't mean that my problems don't matter. And I feel like that's what literature does. It makes you feel like, what you're thinking at this point of time, that matters. And like, you have a unique sense of identity that no other human has. And if you do not embrace it, then you're not being yourself. And I feel like that's it. That's the most beautiful thing about literature. And it's not about inner monsters or inner angels. It's just about you and how complex you are, and how just literature unravels all those complex threads within you. So yeah, I'm done.